Hey everyone, Paul again, Magnitude. Right, this tutorial is about the response activity, the security compromise response. And this is to support you as an information officer with the absolutely critical task of an effective response to a compromise event. So we need to go through this activity in the tutorial to bring you a level of confidence on how it works and your role within it. Discuss the workflow trigger that pushes data from the verify activity into this particular one, and show you the multi-part process for response management, and have a discussion around what constitutes a resolve of a record in the response activity. As always, you'll hear references time to time in the tutorial to other resources to assist you to understand at a deeper level functionalities, other functionalities in the tool. And when we make that reference, this is where you come to find the information. Right, and we've flipped across to POPIacheck itself. I'm, as usual, demonstrating inside the desktop web app. Mobile app will look just about the same and work the same. The activity of focus is the response, security compromise response. And this is one of the activities wherein workflow is triggered in the system. So in the event, per our previous tutorial, in the event that your verification process results in a decision by you as the information officer that indeed we have a problem, so this suspected alert which triggered into verification, now at the verification you come to the conclusion, yes, we have a severity low, medium or high, but the point is we have something to deal with, that will trigger the data to move across to the response. And it will push this number, this unresolved number, up by 1. It will also bring you a notification here at the center, and on your mobile device it will ping and so on, but it pushes the number up. There are a number of ways to get here. I think the one that's easiest by far is simply to click here on unresolved, which I'm doing now. Okay, and therefore I've moved across now to the record, and I'm in the summary view. Which you'll be a little bit familiar with. If you go into the roles, or more specifically the responsibilities of an information officer under the POPIA, it's quite obvious that the rubber, so to speak, really hits the road in the manner that you respond to a compromise incident. And as always, it's the information officer who has to do the work, unfortunately, and the software, and in this case the POPIacheck, is a support tool to you to achieve that. And inside this activity, this is where we help you to manage your organization's response to the compromise. The system is going to guide you in your response, prompting you to drop relevant information as you put together your response to the compromise which has occurred. Right, so here's the record, and now we're going to update it as we respond. So I move to the response icon here, the blue one with a pen. I click on that and it opens the interface for response. And we have a multi-part response opportunity here. So we have different forms which come up under different circumstances depending on where we are in the process. There's basically 3 response opportunities here. You can use this as many times as you want, but there's 3 response classifications, let me put it that way. And then at any given moment, as you move through a response, and a response could, under certain circumstances, take some weeks in actual fact, you may want to do an assessment of how well you are doing in the response. This is for your own information, for colleagues' information, your executives' information, and it's a record, sort of a checkpoint record to go back to in due course to audit your own work. So 3 buttons here allow you to make updates and plan and so on. And the third one is, the fourth one is an ongoing assessment, which you'll use time to time as you wish. I won't spend time actually completing the data because that is completely self-explanatory when you're doing it yourself. So there's no point going into that now. So I'll pause at this point. So I've come back into the system and I've picked a record to demonstrate what happens with those multi-part responses. So here you can see the original data, the original record, let me rather say, and everything below the sort of filofax clip here is a response subsequent. So these represent responses as demonstrated a few seconds ago in the other screen. So the original record and updates, and you can continue with these updates as necessary. As always, there's the action chat bar to drop in and collaborate with people. We can always come here, type an @ and collaborate with fellow information officers. I think you're very familiar with this now. There's other tools available with this action chat bar. Please reference the relevant resource. And then coming back, as I say, to the record here, the original record, it will make complete sense that at some point your response is done. You have responded to the security compromise incident, and it is time to close this record. And as you have may become used to now, that means we look for these gray ticks and click on them, and that means they move to green, and this item is now resolved. It's closed out, it's moved to archive, still completely available for your viewing when you find it in the correct place, but resolved. And what that means, in addition, is because it has resolved here, it moves across into the evaluate activity, which we'll talk about in the next clip. So in the same way that information has been pushed all the way from here to verify, to response, now from response, when we resolve, it moves to evaluate. For more specific information about the resolve, unresolve functionality, please refer to the resources section. Look for resolve, unresolve. Right, then to wrap up, we've gone over the purpose of your response activity. It's an absolutely key process for an information officer. We've given you an oversight of the workflow triggers in the process, both data into the process and data out of the process. We've had a look at how you update the record with a multi-part update option at that blue icon, the update icon. We've discussed the practicality of the resolving a record, and as usual, we've had a quick look at the action chat bar. Good. We're ready to move to the next tutorial, which is Response Evaluate, Security Compromise Response Evaluate, and I'll see you there.